Holy cow, guys, there's a lot of material to cover in this video, but I'm going to do my best and just kind of shorten it. On July 18th, 2019, General Motors unveiled the latest generation of the Corvette, better known as the C8 or 8th generation Corvette. Prior to its launch, many skeptics were critical of the Corvette, from the renderings to the rumors about the Vette going mid-engine to the constant wave of pictures capturing the camouflaged beast, so on and so forth. This American legend has become the big talk of the town for the last year or so, and finally it made its debut. For the most part, many critics were pleased with what they saw and heard about the Corvette. However, it's quite apparent that in the car community, we have some polarizing opinions on this iteration of the beloved Vette, so let's dive right into it. What did GM get right, and what did they get wrong about the Corvette? First things first, let's address the elephant in the room. In case you live under a rock or just don't follow car news, there's been quite a bit of backlash regarding the Corvette going mid-engine. For starters, the last 7 generations or 65 plus years of the Vette has seen the big burly V8 in the front of the car, so naturally, many people have become accustomed to that being the hallmark of the Corvette. However, in my opinion, I believe GM made the right decision to go mid-engine in this day and age. Why, you may ask? Well, GM has amassed decades of research and development for a mid-engine layout in a supercar that was meant to destroy exotics for a fraction of the price. It was only a matter of time before GM would finally bring Zora Arkus Duntup's, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, also known as the godfather of the Corvette, dream into a reality. In a way, like GM, I see this latest generation of the Corvette as a tribute to Zora, and I respect GM's decision to make the Corvette mid-engine. For the most part, it seems the critical comments regarding the mid-engine layout has all but dissipated. After seeing the video footage and the pictures of the new engine bay in the back of the Corvette, people now see the car as something more special. It's not just an American sports car or supercar, if you will, anymore. It's America's best interpretation of a supercar. Another thing that GM got right with the Corvette was the fact that they offered a naturally aspirated V8, guys. Even during the press conference, one of the executives mentioned how in today's day and age, it seems like every car manufacturer is downsizing and or turbocharging just about their entire lineup of vehicles. Yet Corvette stayed true to its heritage by still having the beloved small block V8. In this case, the new LT engine produced 490 horsepower and 465 pound-foot of torque, or 495 horsepower and 470 pound-foot of torque with the optional Z51 package. So thank you, GM. Thank you, Corvette engineers, for listening to your audience. Now, pricing was a huge concern for many of us, if not all car enthusiasts and normal folks alike. For months leading up to this event, many people speculated would start at 70,000, maybe 80,000, even 90,000+. Looking back, I wouldn't blame them for thinking like that. After all, going mid-engine usually requires a tremendous amount of research and development R&D, especially on a car that's been front-engine for the last 65 plus years. Yet somehow, GM claims to market the base model C8 Corvette at under $60,000. If y'all were watching the press conference, the entire audience gasped. They couldn't believe it, I couldn't believe it, and all my car buddies couldn't believe it. What a steal, what a bargain. How in God's name did GM only raise the Corvette's base price by around $4,000 to $5,000, with performance numbers marketed at 3 seconds or less from 0 to 60 with the Z51 package? That's absolutely mind-boggling. That's like almost as fast as the C7 Z06, for God's sake. Hats off to the guys at GM for once again staying true to the Corvette's motto of being the everyday man's supercar killer. At this point, you're probably wondering what GM got wrong with the latest Corvette. Well, I'm going to address the other elephant in the room. There's no manual transmission option. So in 2016, about 25% of Corvettes sold came paired with a manual transmission. That's not exactly a small number. Granted, I understand that it probably saved the Corvette engineers tons of extra hours to only use and design around the 8-speed dual-clutch transmission borrowed from the Porsche 918 Spyder, correct me if I'm wrong. Yet there's no denying that a lot of car enthusiasts are pretty bummed out. So not only did the Vette go mid-engine, it now only comes with an automatic with a dual-clutch transmission. Probably a little too much change too quickly in my opinion. The C8 should have offered a manual transmission Unfortunately, as one of my co-workers pointed out, that having designed the center console area so tightly, it may be extremely difficult to have a manual option configured now. Not to mention that most modern mid-engine cars tend to only have a dual clutch transmission option. Just look at McLarens, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, and so on and so forth. With the exceptions, of course, being the Lotus, Evora, and some higher-end Porsches. Still, it would have been a huge statement to the rest of the automotive sector if the Corvette continued to offer a manual transmission. Let's hope that one day the C8 will get a manual transmission, likewise the 2020 Shelby GT500 as well. Finally, let's talk about the looks of the Corvette, inside and out. In my opinion, based on the pictures and the footage of the C8 Corvette that I've seen, I really dig the front. I really like it. It very much resembles the outgoing C7 Corvette. Looks to me like a natural progression, a natural evolution of the C7. As for the side profile, I like it as well. I mean, it closely resembles some other supercars, but I dig it. Moving on to the rear and or back of the Corvette, it's alright. I mean, I can definitely see why a lot of people believe that the Vette looks very similar to the outgoing Camaro. And the exhaust tips, what are those? Not exactly the best looking rear end, but who knows, it may grow on me. Like, remember when the C7 first came out in late 2013, early 2014? Everyone and their grandmother absolutely hated the rear end of the C7. Many people couldn't believe how the signature 4-circle taillights disappeared, yet over time, the C7 taillights and rear grew on people. I believe the same will happen with the C8. Next up, let's talk about the interior. Overall, I don't actually like the interior. It seems like an evolution of the C7, sure, but the infotainment system looks like GM took a step backwards. Also, that line of buttons on the right sidewall of the driver is kind of a lot and overwhelming. That being said, I'm sure this is one of those things where if I were to sit in the car and get used to it, maybe I'd actually come to love it. But from where I'm sitting, it's just not wowing me like how the exterior is. So in summation, overall, I'm pretty excited about the C8 Corvette. I think it has lots of potential and will undoubtedly set new records on various tracks and on the streets. Would I get one? Absolutely, but not the base model. I'd at least shoot for the Z51 package, we'll see. Maybe that'll be my 100,000 subscriber celebration thing or whatever. Anyhow, I think GM did a really good job trying to appeal to as many people as possible, despite leaving out the manual transmission. They cared about something as trivial as trunk space, bragging how they still intend to be the best in class storage. They cared about the steering wheel, even though it looks so odd, just that odd shape, but it was to accommodate more legroom and better visibility up top. They cared about the weight distribution concerns that are inherently part of any mid-engine car, putting the driver over the center of gravity of the Corvette and reassuring us that they engineered such a fantastic suspension system to tame this new animal. All in all, I'm pretty satisfied and can't wait to see what's to come of it and what higher trim levels will have to offer. Thanks so much for watching, hit that subscribe button, and let me know what your thoughts are on the C8 Corvette. Please stay tuned for more videos just like this, and until next time, peace out.